So welcome to our mindful moments every Wednesday at 7:30 Mountain Standard Time. My name's Emma,
And my name's Chandra.
and so we come live and we just talk about all different kinds of things. We're kind of excited because I think we have a meeting on Friday with somebody who's going to be a guest speaker for next week. It'll be really, really cool. And so it'll be on Instagram still. October, we're looking at moving over to YouTube, which you don't want to miss that.
Especially our first time.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully it's gonna go okay, but we'll get there. Um, and then the last couple of weeks, we've talked about like green flags and red flags and people, because I know, relationships are hard, and not just, it doesn't have to just be intimate. It can be your boss, it can be your family, it can be a friend. And relationships are really difficult sometimes to navigate.
Oh, yes. And dealing with different personalities and the way people react to you as well.
Absolutely. And as most of you know, Chandra and I do a business together. So we do proactive wellness, and we meet all kinds of people. And sometimes it takes more patience, and other times it's like you're wanting to lift people up and make people feel better. And sometimes you see that, these products and the encouragement that we can give to other people, it really, really like helps them and makes them like feel uplifted and builds their confidence. And those are things that we love to do.
Exactly. That's our passion, is being able to uplift and make people feel good and love themselves and be surrounded by a positive, uplifting community, right?
Absolutely. There are times though there's conflict in our lives.
Yeah. But the beautiful thing about what we do is we get to choose who we work with too.
Absolutely. That's huge. Yeah, in our business, we get to choose who we work with. And so we have like an amazing group of people. And yeah, if anybody's ever interested, just send us a message and we can have a conversation. But we're pretty fortunate that way.
Yes, we are.
Does anybody ever, what kind of like strategies, if you're talking about like conflict and conflict management, because last week we were talking about red flags and kind of, dealing with some of those behaviors, what do you think? Hi, welcome, Brenda. What do you guys think are some skills or ways that you deal with conflict in your life, or do you not deal with
Yeah.
conflict in your life?
Yeah, are you avoider? Do you avoid conflict? Share some tips on how you handle it.
Yeah. And sometimes I think, like, just in my thoughts, is that there's times that you don't even need to handle it, right? Is that, like, I guess if somebody's done something and it's like kind of been malicious, or if they would know that it's very hurtful and they've tried to do things like that, sometimes there's no resolving it. You can just walk away. And actually that really like links in with my video today, and I didn't even think about that when I posted it this morning until right now. But you can walk away from those kind of things, right? You don't need to have a discussion, and you don't need to continue to work that out, because some people are just dedicated to misunderstanding you and not
Yeah,
caring exactly how you feel.
exactly. And sometimes just walking away shows them too, like, 'cause they know they did something, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes that can be the best response.
Yeah. And I
In
think
some
that sometimes, yeah,
circumstances,
yeah, in some circumstances, um, let them what?
use the right tone of voice, avoid as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. But I also think too, like, there's times that I don't want to deal with it. And there's times that I actually am like, that made me really angry. Like, I want to go prove that's not right. What they're saying is not right. That's not okay. But when you take a step back, that's actually ego. That's your ego wanting to come
Yeah,
out, and those kind of things. And so sometimes if we listen to that, it might not always serve us, I would say, in the best light.
yeah. But sometimes it's not the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes
Um,
that can be avoided too. It's hard sometimes to deal with conflict, right? I used to be really bad in the past with like just avoiding the conflict.
yeah.
Oh, did he? Aw.
Um, so yeah, there's times that I avoid conflict, and as I said, there's times that like I just know that it's best to walk away and not have that conversation, because it's not going to get anywhere. But one of the things that, and I will continue to say, one of the things that I always think of is that, someone's feelings, they're always valid. Your feelings are always valid, but your behavior is not. So your behavior and how you respond to those feelings is not the best, and it doesn't support building a healthy relationship. But your feelings are valid.
Yes. But always keeping people's feelings in mind too when you are in those situations, right? How you respond or the words that you say.
Yeah, absolutely. And
And if
keeping an
someone
open
is,
dialogue.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yes. Brenda agrees.
And taking ownership for your feelings too, right? Instead of like saying like, "Oh, you made me feel this and you did this." And that's kind of like that blaming and that projecting like onto somebody else. But you want to kind of own your feelings. So I could say, I feel hurt when whatever
Yeah,
happens, those kind of things. So you're labeling the behavior and not the person, but you're also taking responsibility for your own emotions and your own
yeah,
feelings.
yes. Yes, that's very important as well.
Yeah.
Because it can be so easy just to like blame the person for the way you're feeling, but it's just something that they're doing, right? And then
Yeah,
if you're helping them be aware of what they're doing to upset you, then maybe you can come to a solution as well, right?
exactly. And what you're saying there is exactly right. Like when you go in and you don't want to wait on a conflict. So if there's something that's bothering you, you don't want to wait and wait and wait and wait and then address it like however long later. But you address it. Oh, you had me along that thing. Um, but you address it with the person openly. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly. It's good to
and
be open with
solution.
the way you feel, and communication is the most important in all relationships with friends, your relationship, your spouse, like any relationship, your parents,
Absolutely. And
because
what you had said too was the solution, and coming as solution focused is so sometimes like if something's happening, going to them and saying, these are some of the things that I see that may help, or this may like work things out differently, instead of like expecting that person to always come up with a solution, right?
yeah, exactly. And talking on like a level, like a human level too, not reacting. Because some people can be very reactive. And then if you react back, like it's good to like even try to calm the other person down if they're reacting back to you. If you're saying like, hey, you know what, this is bothering me. Let's just talk on a level playing field here, right?
Exactly.
And not
Tone
trying
of
to
voice.
react back. Because sometimes if someone's being very reactive to you, it can be hard
Yeah,
not to react back. But
absolutely.
you have to like
Absolutely.
if someone's kind of being reactive to me, like, you got to try and like maybe count to 5 seconds, take some breaths and be like, okay, I'm not going to react back. I'm going to respond in a nice manner back and try to calm them
Absolutely.
down.
Hello. Welcome in. Absolutely. And the thing is that like, um, it's really like, it's important to have your own emotion management, right?
Yeah.
Like knowing that what triggers you, and like, for instance, I'll give you an example. When somebody honks at me, it triggers me. I hate being honked at, and I'm just
You.
like, I know. I just want to say something to my window and be like, but I don't. I just kind of like, I'm always like, okay, that's a them thing,
Yeah.
as long as I'm not in the wrong. Like, I mean, if I was doing something that wasn't okay and they're trying to guide me, then I understand. But
Yeah.
some
But if
people
all
just
for no reason or like if you're not even doing anything wrong,
yeah,
yeah. Or trying to
and
be an
they
asshole or like trying to like rear end you or
I
whatever.
know, and they get honking, like, yeah. And so I do actually, I'm like, just breathe through it. It's okay. Like, because this is really
I
fun.
know. Well, if you want to get mad at them, I always try to think quick. I'm like, because I like to try and kill people with kindness because some people are just angry people and they're
Yeah.
just reactive and they just like to be angry towards everybody. It's not just you, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes I try to remember because sometimes when you're really nice to them and wave, it makes them more mad and then I feel
I,
happy.
I know, I know. I'm like, I'll pray for you.
Yeah, yeah, just kill them with kindness.
Right? And I think that, always coming above. Sometimes we don't. I mean, it's sometimes hard to be kind when somebody's not being really unkind to you. Um, and again, I think that has to do a little bit with ego. It has to do with, us wanting to be right or to, I guess, save face sometimes is that we're like, no, I'm not like that. Or, like wanting to prove yourself. But really, you don't need to prove yourself to the people who know, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. And people are like, you've been good with helping me a lot with that too, Emma. So I'm like, oh, I feel like I always got to explain myself to people or whatever. Like if they're like, they're whatever, they're reacting in a way, but
Yeah.
you're always so good with, no, Chandra, you don't need to read. Like they know how they're acting, they know how they're being,
Yeah.
and you don't really need to explain anything.
And over explaining, and I learned this too, like quite a while ago, is a trauma response. We often over explain
Yeah.
because we want to make sure that people are hearing us right, that we're
Yeah.
covering all our bases, that we're telling people, but really, like, no is a complete answer, right?
Yeah.
Or I can't come out, or I can't come and do this with you, I'm really sorry. Like, those are complete answers.
Yeah.
And you don't need to explain um things to people.
You're right. And I think it is a trauma like response for me from my past and
Oh,
everything. And
well,
that's
me
why I
too,
feel
because I've had some people say things to me or whatever in text, and I get like the text warrior. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get this all out. Really, like, so I probably have sent it before, and I know I have, but other times I'll type it all out and I'll be like, no, just don't respond.
yeah. Sometimes no response is better.
No response is a response too,
Yep,
right?
it is. No response
Absolutely.
is definitely a response sometimes.
Yeah. So what does everybody else in the comments here? What do you guys think? Yeah. And but I mean, I think there's real times that there's times that you really want to make amends with people and have those conversations, those deeper conversations. Hi, Sammy. And that's when somebody's like, they've made a mistake or something, or like the intention wasn't to hurt you, or those kind of things. And being able to be open and have that conversation with somebody, that can actually really strengthen your friendship and your relationship.
Most definitely.
Yeah,
That's where like communication comes into play, right?
right. Absolutely. So using
And
empathy and
some,
understanding where the person's coming from.
yeah, exactly. Sometimes if you don't share kind of what's on your mind or your thoughts or how you feel, there can be a big misunderstanding in the end as well, right? Maybe
Absolutely.
you're just misunderstanding something and something bothering you. You would never know if you weren't to have that conversation with the other person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then you're here all upset about something that wasn't even accurate, right? So,
Exactly. And you're making all these things up in your mind and like all these scenarios and just getting more and more upset about the situation that might not even be what you're thinking in your mind.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I can't, like, there's times definitely that my head ruminates, and then you think, and then it builds, and it's like Lego, right? Like it all
Oh yeah.
goes together, and until you have those conversations and things, then yeah, definitely you can
Yeah.
you can be building a whole new track somewhere else that doesn't even
Exactly.
exist.
Exactly. So that can anybody else relate? I think we all have those moments.
Absolutely. Hi, nice to see you. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, next week when we do have the speaker, just as a reminder too, we are going to be, it's going to kind of go like like the last three topics, right?
Yeah,
With our guest speakers.
yeah,
So we've been kind of leading up all these conversations for our guest speaker on next week.
yes, yes, it's going to be exciting. Yeah, overthinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we're all guilty of that sometimes, you know, and
Oh yeah.
maybe maybe having some of those strategies to make us stop in the moment and you know, redirect our thoughts.
Oh yes. Yes. I know I could be bad for overthinking things.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, I never was a huge one for conflict. I mean, it's not my favorite thing. Um, but I think for the most part that I think the one thing that I always think too is if I'm responding in an email or if I have to respond over text or something with regards to any sort of conflict, I always think if this was posted on a billboard, what would people say? Right? Because that helps to kind of keep you very focused, like, so focus on the facts of the situation, you know, expressing yourself in your I feel statement so that you're taking accountability for things, making sure that you're addressing the behavior and not the person. And so if a bunch of people were to read that, how would that come across, right? And that kind of helps to refocus you and make sure that that you're kind of staying on track with the right kind of methods.
Right. Yeah, maybe take him up so he doesn't chew my cord.
Puppy, Tuco?
Yeah. Brad was just printing some things. Yeah, Tuco, I had to order a new phone charger because he chewed up my whole cord.
Oh no, oh really?
So I'm trying to make sure I close the doors and keep any cords like up high.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm having some conflict with my puppy sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Oops. Yeah.
Luckily, I had a phone charger or a car charger because I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna
Yeah,
do.
I was gonna ask you, like, so
Yeah.
you have one in your car and you just charge it there then?
No, I just brought it in to plug it in because my charger is different now. Because now with phones, they get different ends and different, like it's all different now. So we don't have
Oh.
any chargers that match up with it. So
Oh.
yeah, I'm learning to keep things up. If anybody has a puppy, make sure you keep everything out of sight
Absolutely. Absolutely.
to avoid
Well, it
that
was
conflict.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's a conflict that you can't really have a conversation about.
I know. I know, and he doesn't listen very well to me.
Most puppies don't, for sure.
No.
Well, we want to thank everybody for joining. And again, our YouTube is in our mindful moments in the highlights and in our link trees. And sometimes we post throughout the week into our stories. So if you can follow us on YouTube, it's free and we really appreciate the support. Uh, Next week we're going for an hour, so 7:30 to 8:30, because we'll have a guest speaker, so that's really exciting. I hope that you can all come and hear some amazing things that she has to share.
Yes, and feel free to invite some friends to join along too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about relationships, and I think we're going to kind of go into about boundaries and things like this, but we don't want to give too much of it away. Um, but yeah, we would love for everyone to come. And then October, we're going to start to maneuver over to YouTube. But we really thank you. But yeah, we really appreciate everybody's support.
Yes, thank you so much. We appreciate your time and spending these moments together. And yeah, we are excited to soon move to YouTube.
Absolutely. Well, I'll have to see how the comments come up. Like, I don't know. We haven't
Yeah,
been
it'll be
behind that screen.
learning. Let's go learn together, you guys.
Absolutely. We can use all the support for sure.
Yes. And
But
then you can all give us your feedback of how our first one was compared to like down the
yeah,
road.
exactly. Exactly. Maybe one day we'll have to do a video and compare like the first one to like
Yeah, we
whatever.
should. Before and after video. What
For
our
sure.
used to look like, and then now. And that's what we're all about. We're both about learning and growing and like growing together, right?
Yeah,
Learning new skills. Learning new skills can always be, a little challenging, maybe sometimes frustrating, but that's where growth happens.
absolutely.
It's outside of
Absolutely.
your comfort zone, right? Like even in the business that we do too, it's out of both of our comfort zone, but we love it and it's helping us to grow. It's personal development with a paycheck attached.
Absolutely. And it's so funny that you say that because I was just like, I was going to say, you know what? Like, we're outside of our comfort zone. And I was just
Yes,
going to say that. Like, we're so on the same page.
exactly. And right now, this is even out of our comfort zones too.
Yeah,
Well, mine anyway.
absolutely. But we really appreciate everybody coming and supporting and, the comments and stuff like that. And if you can share out our links, that would be greatly appreciated. And we will see you next week.
Yeah, see you later, everybody. Have a good
Bye.
night.
Take
Sending lots of
care.
love.